Welcome to State of Tech. Today we're taking a look at the Note 7. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. It's the latest device available from Samsung, and of course it is one of the best devices that they have ever came out with. Now, I previously was using a S7 Edge, Galaxy S7 Edge, and it was a great phone. I really liked it. I made a change to go to a smaller phone and spent some time on a smaller iPhone just to see how life would be on a small phone, or what would be considered today as a small phone. And then jumped back into the large phone arena with the Note 7. I was really anticipating its launch because I have grown to like the Note line of phones since probably around the Note 5. I think Samsung's really found its footing with this product, and the feature set and the average size of phones has caught up to the size of a Note, to where it's not enormous anymore. This is the norm. So this phone, let's talk just briefly about a few of the specs that I think are important. Of course, it has a fantastic processor in it, one of the fastest processors out there in a mobile device. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is just, in my opinion, a standard. You cannot really survive if you use your device much on less than 4 gigabytes of RAM these days. I think especially a Samsung device where there's a lot more going on under the hood in the software, I meant, as far as that goes. You need that RAM. It also has expandable storage, which is something they brought back after not having last year. You could put up to 256 gigabytes of additional storage right in the top. So, of course, the SIM tray acts as both a SIM tray and the tray for your micro SD card. So this device is just extremely beautiful. You can see I have it here with a Pelican case on it. The Pelican case is pretty much my go-to case. It is kind of a bulky case, but it protects my phone really well. And I have a tendency to accidentally drop my phone. I don't do it very often, but when it happens, I want a case to be on my phone. And these phones are extremely fragile, though they are tougher than they used to be. They're fragile in the sense because they're made of glass. They've got glass on the front, glass on the back, and I don't want that scratched. To me, any little imperfection in my phone is a flaw that I will think about constantly, and I really don't want to have to be thinking about that constantly, so I keep a case on my phone. The camera is one of the most important features for me in a smartphone. I take a lot of photos. I'm a photographer. I have kids. I like to take photos and video, and my phone is often a go-to camera for me, just as it is for many of you. So this has a 12 megapixel camera in the back, which is not as large as some of the past Samsung cameras, but it is a very good camera. It takes amazing photos. As you can see, we're showing you some photos on the screen now. It just really captures well. There's been times in the past where Samsung has oversaturated photos to make them look better and done little tricks to try and make their photos look better. I think right now they have a good combination of an excellent sensor and good processing all in one. They're not really doing too much in either direction. And sure, sensors could be better, but as far as what's available right now on the market in most phones, Samsung is leading the pack right now with the sensor that is in their camera. The front-facing sensor is also pretty good as well. It takes great selfie photos or group photos, and of course using it with new Google Duo for kind of like a video chat, it definitely works really well and produces a great image. So the phone is pretty snappy. Initially, I was not experiencing the best battery life out of it, so I put that little device maintenance widget on the front screen, and I tap that every now and then just to kind of clean out any processes that are running on my phone. And after doing that, I had no problem getting through an entire day. I could start with a full charge in the morning and still have 20-30% at the end of the day after more than moderate usage, after using my phone quite a bit throughout the day. But it takes staying on top of that. Samsung's phones and pretty much all Android phones still are not to the point where you could just use it all day long and not worry about anything like with an iPhone. Of course, there's a lot more going on with Android than there is with an iPhone, a lot more background processes and stuff that an iPhone just won't do. in the sake to keep your battery from draining so fast. But the Samsung is doing pretty good. The battery I found doesn't last quite as long as an S7 Edge. The S7 Edge does have a slightly larger battery than what comes in this phone, but it does still get good battery life as long as you stay on top of it. One of the new things that is in the updated version of Samsung software is a device manager, which is pretty nice. It's a well-integrated device manager, and it makes it really easy for you to clean out any processes that are running. Like I said, I have this device maintenance widget right on the front here. We tap on that, and it goes ahead and clears out a lot of apps and a lot of storage that's being used. It actually appears to be clearing out the cache as well. So it does a really nice job of cleaning that out. And then I notice performance increases almost immediately after tapping that button. This last weekend, I was a little frustrated with the phone because I was out and about. I didn't have time to really stay on top of device maintenance. I wasn't tapping that button. I wasn't really paying attention to closing out apps after I was done. I just kind of left them, close the app, but I didn't do anything in particular. And the problem there is that my phone was running warm and my battery was draining really fast. And then when I went to use the phone, it was super laggy. And this is a problem that I've had with Samsung phones in the past. They have enough RAM in them to be usable for the average user, a person who may install, under 75 apps or under 100 apps and only use maybe a couple of them a day. They're not going to have a problem. 4 gigabytes of RAM is plenty. But if you are jumping from taking a photo to going to a photo editing app and then maybe taking it into another photo editing app, posting it on social media, coming back, recording a video clip, and just kind of doing a lot of different things with your phone, you're going to find that your battery life isn't going to last you all day. You're going to end up needing a top off midday. Now, it is nice that this phone does have quick charging version 2, not version 3, which is the current technology that's out, but version 2 still gets you topped off pretty quickly. I have a cigarette lighter adapter in my truck that is quick charge version 3, so it quick charges my Note, and then I also have quick charge AC adapters in any other place that I'm going to be, so that way I could top off my phone really fast. That is the sacrifice that we all make for using Android phones. It's not Samsung specific necessarily, but it is something that plagues Samsung phones a little bit more than others because there's so much going on. So I have noticed a little bit of improvement in the fingerprint reader. It's really fast. I did notice when I had my S7 Edge that there was a little bit of lag sometimes, especially if the phone had a lot of processes running in the background. But this has been pretty snappy. I haven't had any delays there. I have messed around with the retinal scanner that allows you to unlock your phone by pointing it at your face, but I wear glasses and that's really spotty. It really works well when you don't have glasses on, and it even tells you if you're wearing glasses to maybe take them off or move them up or whatnot so that it is more effective. But to me, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lift up my glasses every single time. It's easier for me just to use the fingerprint scanner to unlock my phone. It was pretty spot on though. In good lighting, like I'm sitting in right now, I can unlock my phone with the retinal scanner with my glasses on without a problem. However, in slightly lower lit situations, like sitting in my living room, I was unable to do that. So the phone itself is just beautiful. I love the more minimal edges. It has edges on both sides like the S7 Edge, but much more minimal curvature on the edge of the phone, which is less distracting to me. It still makes for a beautiful design, but it doesn't get carried away like I think they did with the S7 Edge. The screen is beautiful. Whenever I use a different device for a little while and I come back to the Note 7, I'm just blown away again at the quality of the display. It's just amazing. There's nothing else on the market like it right now. And we will see what happens in the coming weeks when Apple releases their iPhone 7 or whatever they end up calling it, whether or not it compares to what Samsung has already released this year with the Note and the S7 variants of their phones. but Samsung just does an amazing job at it. The only caveats that I feel are to the quality of their device is just the amount of things that they try to pack in sometimes overall hinder the experience of the overall phone itself. With that said, let's jump into probably the most exciting feature of the phone, which is the S Pen. Now, the S Pen is redesigned. It is still the majority of it is made of plastic, except for this little metal button here. The screen, they've went and completely redone the technology here and added many more pressure points to it. So it is way more efficient and better than it ever was before. And with Instagram coming out with Instagram stories and the ability to draw on photos similar to Snapchat, I found myself using my stylus quite often to use my phone and maneuver around through my phone. Not only just with Instagram stories, drawing little things on my photos, but using the stylus to just navigate my phone. Sometimes when you're sitting there, maybe in a chair or on the couch, holding your phone, using the stylus to navigate around is pretty nice. And as an added benefit, now you can't stick the stylus in backwards and break it. So Samsung has just continuously stepped up their game with the stylus. You can jump right in here and create notes. You can write and create notes on the lock screen. It's just a really, really nice addition to a device. And should I switch from this Note 7 to something else, like this is something that I'll really miss. It's not a feature that I use every single day. I don't jot down notes because I'm not a fan of my handwriting, but I love being able to, annotate on top of things. If I'm sending somebody a screenshot of something, I could circle it. Instagram and Snapchat stories, being able to draw on them. They're just fun things that you're able to do with this, and it's a much better experience than using your finger or one of those squishy styluses that you can get that work with most other smartphones. So with my phone here, I typically run a lot of apps. I have a lot of apps installed, over 250 installed on this phone right here. I did a restore from a previous phone, so it wasn't even a clean install. And so a lot of people could come back to me and say, oh, well, I don't use that many apps, or I did a clean install and, my phone doesn't have any problems with lagging. And that could be true for most of you. A lot of people don't have lag with these phones, but people who use them as much as I do often experience a little bit of lag. There is talk, or I guess there's another variation of this phone not available in the US that comes with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And to me, that would be amazing. A phone with 6 gigabytes of RAM is plenty of RAM not to have to worry about lag in the current state of Android and Samsung and the way that their devices are built. Waterproofing. The waterproofing is another new feature of this Note 7, and I've tested it a couple of different times and found it to be amazing. Like, they've even improved upon what comes in the S7 and S7 Edge in going in and out of water, the way that the phone reacts when you go from being out of water to going into the water, that is improved. Like the quality of the microphone draining after you pull it out of the water, that's improved. Like, there just seems to be a lot of improvements there. Samsung's really getting a handle on this waterproofing. Now, they don't come out and say that their phones are waterproof, and actually in the manual of the phone, it says don't put it in the water, because if any water does manage to get inside your phone, you still can void your warranty. So I recommend being very careful, only taking your phone underwater for short periods of time, and making sure that you dry it off really well afterwards. Another concern of mine with the waterproofness of this phone is that the whole channel that the S Pen goes in can fill up with water. And if you've ever not dried something off after it getting wet, there's residue depending on the kind of water that you were in, whether it be like a lake or a heavily chlorinated swimming pool or something like that. You want to be careful. And so I made sure to kind of with my own breath just blow the ports out on the phone just to get as much water out of there as I could, because I didn't want residue or whatever left over on the phone. Should anything happen, or a little bit of moisture start to seep its way past the seals that are inside of the phone, I wouldn't want to void my warranty for any of those reasons. So I tried to be very careful. Last things that I could say about this phone is that it is just a very nice phone. Samsung continues to step up the quality of their devices. Let me pop it out of the case here for you. The Pelican case, which I'll put a link in the description below. One of the best cases on the market, hands down. So the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 here, just a lot nicer to hold, I think, than it used to be. Of course, I put a case on it, but it just feels good in the hand. It's well designed. My only downfall with it is obviously the glass on the front and the back. The front you can't get away with, but on the back, I can't just set my devices down on the table like that. I just don't want them to get scratched up. I don't want scuffs. I don't want germs or whatever else getting all over the back of my phone. So I end up putting them in a case. But the Note 7 is probably one of the best phones out that will come out this year, even with phones yet to be released this year. It's an excellent device and well worth the premium price. So let me know what you think about this device in the comment section below. Did you pick one up? What are your thoughts on it? And if you haven't picked one up and maybe you have complaints or reservations about the phone, I'd love to hear about those in the description below. It helps better craft my opinion of the phone too, knowing what some of the things that you all have to say are about the device. So thanks for in advance for sharing those thoughts, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this. We love sharing technology and talking about it with you, showing you how some of this stuff works. So make sure to subscribe to our channel so you get updates whenever we release that content. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on State of Tech.